Hey, what's up guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my Buffalo Bills franchise mode series. And today, we finish up the 2023 regular season. And it's weird, because we're at 8-3. We're in first place in the division, and it's not often that you might think that changes are necessary when you have that strong of a record. But with the way the team is set up right now, we have noticed some issues. The big issue right now, of course, has been Hansen Ericsson's inconsistency. Now, you factor in, of course, the changes that I made at the beginning of the year, getting rid of Devontae Adams. You know, there is some concern, although it's not as if we left him without any offensive weapons. We still had Kawangio, we drafted London Charles. In the last episode, actually the episode before, we picked up Kawan Byram, and defensively, we're still absolutely stacked. But to a fair point, perhaps Kareem Hunt just takes up too much of the offense with our current setup. Now, there is, of course, the argument of schemes and whether or not they really mean anything in the sense of what happens gameplay-wise. Most people, from what I've heard so far, and I tend to agree, seem to think it's just, okay, well, you know, you match your scheme fit. And that's it, right? As the playbook is what mainly determines how things go down. The scheme fit is more for who gets that bonus XP. That said, in terms of the best scheme fits for us, whether it were to be a West Coast power run, the spread offense, which wouldn't be ideal, run and shoot, or West Coast zone run, we'd still be relying on the run game, not as if we'd want Hansen Ericsson himself to be running. So you kind of get the point there. I don't think there's much we could really change there. But in terms of the playbook, offensively, we've been running the New Orleans playbook for the sake of short passes. If we take a look at one Hansen Ericsson, that right now is his biggest weakness, in that his deep throw accuracy is not ideal. So the thought for me, keep it short. But what we're going to do is we are going to change up the scheme. I think we're going to switch to the Rams offense, which should hopefully give Ericsson a few more options in terms of the intermediate levels of the throw. Of course, we still rely on running the ball quite frequently. Defensively, at least at the moment, I don't have too many concerns. We'll take a look as far as what could be changed up. And as far as the schemes, if we see that, oh, okay, well, our pass defense is absolutely horrific, then we should probably switch out of the 4-6, and then, hey, schemes mean something. So you know what? Let's take a look at that right now. Again, it's one of those topics of debate, much like in really the majority of other games. I mean, you can look at the NHL series, for example, and there are certain attributes that people always have disagreements on, whether or not the poise rating for individual players means much. There's always something. But looking at team stats here, in terms of our defense, total passing yards allowed, we are thankfully not extremely far up there. Rushing yards allowed was a 909, so we are towards the bottom. So you could say that if we were to switch out of the 4-6, our passing defense would be that much better, and you might not be wrong. That said, that's all a topic of discussion for the end of this episode and heading into the playoffs if we want to change up anything there. But at the very least, I wanted to change up the playbook because we have one hell of a task ahead of us to kick off this episode. We're going down to MetLife to play the Jets, and I'm pretty sure we have never beaten the Jets on the road throughout the course of this series. We have a 9 overall point advantage, and I am very, very nervous for this game. Again, we have struggled against the Jets no matter what this team's looked like, no matter what schemes and playbooks we're running with. I'm intrigued to see how this goes down. What will Hansen Ericsson be able to do today? Hopefully we can rely on Kareem Hunt as well for everything. He's been that good. When Kareem Hunt's on his game, we succeed. And that comes down to the fact that when he's on his game, it's not just the fact that he's running the ball well. He is one hell of a receiving option as well. But here we go. Let's get into this. The first game of the episode. Let's sim to the end of the first quarter and see what happens here against the Jets as we get the opening touchdown. They respond with a field goal, 7-3 at the end of the opening 15 minutes. A 1-yard touchdown pass to Kawangio. So not a terrible start. Onward to halftime as we make it 10-3. And the Jets with the late touchdown off of a turnover, I'm quite sure. They're able to tie this up. Oh, we had a 54-yard field goal. We knew that. Was there a turnover? We punted. No, wow, it was just a quick 3-and-out. We were forced to punt, and they were able to capitalize. So there you go, 10-all at halftime. We will start off with the first possession here, and we take advantage of it, 17-10. And we are threatening to score again. We'll start the fourth quarter on the 16-yard line. Let's see what that touchdown was, though. It was it's not going to tell me. It just says the extra point's good. Cool. So who the hell knows what the hell happened? A penalty was called. I guess we declined it and took the touchdown. And that was that. So we're going to kick a field goal here to make it 20-10. And we'll see if the defense can continue to hold up. And indeed they do. That was a very short possession for the Jets. We march downfield and get another field goal. We're up by 13 with 9:08 remaining as the Jets are stopped on fourth down. We should be good here. Even a field goal would cap this game off. 26-10 with 1:36 to go. That is the game, barring the biggest collapse in NFL history. And we start off this episode on a promising note, a 26-10 victory at MetLife. Who would have thought? It's a new dawn for the Buffalo Bills. We're actually able to beat the Jets. How do you like that? Hanson Erickson, 20 of 37, 269 yards with 2 touchdowns. Strong first performance there of the episode. Kareem Hunt, over 100 yards rushing. Not too bad. Receiving-wise, Byram led the way with 97 yards on 6 receptions, but touchdowns for London Charles and Kuangio. Blocking-wise, not too bad. Defensively, Chauncey led the way, although tied with Lattimore and Hilton. So again, Chauncey's still getting a decent amount of playing time, despite not technically being listed as a starter on the depth chart. Keaho had a great game. Payne had a pretty good game as well, with a sack and a half. No interceptions. And Jake Elliott, 4 for 4. That was good enough to get the win. So there we go. We started things off on a high note, exactly what we needed to do. We moved to 9-3 on the year, and there we go. Angelo Riley and Cordell Turner have improved. Let's make Riley better as a speed rusher to start. It's not going to get him up to an 82, and unfortunately, +3 finesse moves is all right, but not exactly what I was hoping for, as I'm trying to make people a bit more well-rounded on the way up. And it worked out for Cordell Turner. He goes up to a 79 and gets more than just 1 boost. So that's good. You win some, you lose some. Deron Payne also has an upgrade point. I'm going to make him better as a speed rusher. And that boosts him to an 85. So there you go. That's why I prefer to take the strategy. +4 block shedding, +5 power moves. If you didn't like that Deron Payne trade before, it looks a little bit better now. Just a little bit. So things have started off on a very strong note for us, but we do have somewhat difficult schedule here. Philadelphia, Houston, Dallas, and New England to end the regular season, which certainly has me concerned. In terms of scouting, I honestly forget where we left off. We weren't on running backs. Were we on wide receivers? We were. All right, so let's see. Who do we have here? Victor Gaylor is not too bad. Medlin's okay. Not great. Much prefer Keithan Doughton. My God, the names. And if Jose Parson has a very good 40 time, he could be a good mid-round pickup as well. So some decent wideouts in this draft is what we are seeing here. A little bit worried about there being a ton of 5th-round picks. I'm expecting them to drop off a bit, but we are out of points for this week. And aside from that, we're good to go. So Philadelphia, dangerous in name only, apparently. They're at 4-8 on the season. If we get the win here, we're looking like we're in pretty damn good shape. Matter of fact, if we get the win here and Miami loses, they're in a whole lot of trouble. So let's see what we can do. No other changes are necessary. We'll jump into our second game of the episode. A 9 overall point advantage on the Eagles, which, again, you can see 79 overall teams with great records. You can see 79 overall teams at 4-8. You never quite know how that's going to go. Erickson, to his credit, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The big problem for him is the lack of upgrade points, which I just think we have bad luck. And I talked about this in the comment section of the last video. I have a Patriot series going right now, or not a series going, but I have a Patriot sim that I'm doing offline. I have a 90 overall quarterback. I think he's a 92, 93. He started as a 77 at the same level as Hansen Erickson. And for some reason, he's developed. And it's not even a matter of like, oh, you must not have had a good running back. No, I cheesed the system and got Ezekiel Elliott from the Cowboys. So that thought of like, oh, well, Kareem Hunt is stunting Erickson's growth. Maybe, maybe not. But it's one of those things where sometimes players develop, sometimes they don't. That is really what it comes down to. And it's kind of nice in a way that, you know, sometimes players don't develop. Sometimes guys don't reach their max potential. It's frustrating, sure, but realistic in that way, as I believe we'll be down 10-0 here, and indeed we are. So Philly with the early lead. Let's see if we can get our offense going here, and off a turnover we capitalize. 10 all, and make it 17 unanswered points for a 7-point lead at the half. Good stuff. So they hit the 37-yard field goal. We respond with a 46-yard rushing touchdown from Kareem Hunt. And from there, it was a 43-yard field goal for Jake Elliott. And after a sack, a punt, a bunch of turnovers, 24-yard pass to Byram, and a 12-yard touchdown pass to Leylon Kawangio. There you go. 17-10. Solid turnaround. But where will we stand at the end of the third? We're up 24-10, make it 31-10. 31 unanswered points here against the Eagles. A 68-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt, and a 1-yard touchdown pass, I believe, to the fullback, Jackson Devon. There you go. 31-10. We'll just hit end of game. I mean, we're pretty much good. Maybe not. Philly strikes. We respond. 38-17. Make it 48-17. Hansen Erickson and this Bills offense just went off. 2-0 to begin this episode, up to 10-3 on the season, and that was insane. 7-0, and then 10-0, and we outscored them from there 48-7. That is ridiculous. The rushing touchdown from Hunt, touchdown pass to Kawangio, rushing touchdown for Hunt, touchdown pass to Devon, and then in the fourth quarter, 12-yard touchdown pass to Kawangio, 38-yard field goal, and Julius Bradford with a pick six. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I just realized I could have hit the button there. But Hansen Erickson had a phenomenal game. 15 of 25. Not great in that regard, but 162 yards. Also not great. 3 touchdowns, though. Quite efficient. 204 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns for Kareem Hunt. Receiving-wise, the 2 touchdown passes for Kawangio and 1 for the fullback, Jackson Devon. Blocking-wise, great game. Stemke might be hurt. Defensively, Tre'Davious White led the way in terms of tackles. Stevenson had a great game in terms of getting to the quarterback, and of course the pick six for Bradford. Jake Elliott, 2 for 2 in terms of field goals. And again, what looked to be a slow start and a potentially worrisome game turned into an absolute blowout as Micah Hyde and Warren Leckie have improved. I'll show you in a second that I haven't changed the sliders as Micah Hyde goes up by 2 points even at his age. Holy shit. Absolute monster. An absolute monster. And we will have to worry about whether or not Stemke's hurt. Let's make Leckie better at the power game. He's up to an 81. Not too shabby for the 24-year-old. Do we have an injury? Upgrade players, that's probably going to glitch right back. Yep. Okay, so that's done. And one new injury. We know it's Stemke. It's not. It's Daron Payne, and he is out for 8 weeks. So technically 7 as of next week. So it'd be 7 with 15, 6, 5, 4, 3. I think he'd be back for the Super Bowl if we make it. That's a gigantic injury. That is a gigantic injury. Daron Payne being out hurts a lot and really changes things now for that defensive line. to the point where we're going to have to double check a few things in here just to, oh, went to the wrong spot. That's fine. All that's the same. Let me go to this little deal. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Where the hell am I supposed to go for this? Hey, there we go, XP sliders. So just to show you that nothing's changed, everything is still at 100, right? Sounds as if we're magically getting points now out of nowhere. But yeah, we're going to have to contemplate making changes on the defensive line. Let's go ahead and advance to week 15. We're playing Houston. Weekly awards has to be Kareem, and it is, for a phenomenal game. We do apparently have upgrade points as well. It's London Charles, who has the chance to go up to an 82. We'll make him better as a slot option, and indeed he goes up to an 82. His head is way too big for his body, but there you go. The 23-year-old rookie looking pretty good. In terms of scouting, now the Texans are 7-6. This is a big chance for us. In terms of scouting, we'll wrap up the look at receivers. Good old Barry Lowe. Yeah, we're not going to look at Junior Mayo beyond those stats. So there we go. We're good on that front. So we do have to worry about tight ends. We have to worry about the offensive line. But everything else, I wish that white flash wasn't a part of it. Everything else isn't exactly a factor. Again, quarterbacks, we had the first rounder scouted. That's all that we needed. As I'm sure that one of them will drop, we'll pick them up. We've done that before. Hell, that's why we have Hanson Erickson. So let's see if there's a tight end scout. If not, we'll go straight to worrying about the offensive line. And there is not a scout for either. That sucks. We will hire Nelson Curd, and he'll be on the roster for next year, but that is unfortunate. We don't have enough points for any further upgrades with McDermott. So scouting-wise, we're in a little bit of trouble in terms of having to waste a lot of points here. We're going to have to be very selective. But let's see. Philip Burson is all right. Let's look at the second-round options. Corwin Irwin's all right. Austin Lenz, yeah, I think we're good. If we're going to take a tight end in this draft, it's probably going to be Burson. Maybe we'll take a look at some of those third-round options later. For now, let's focus on the offensive line. We're out of points, basically, already for the week. So the big thing here is going to be the defensive line and what can possibly be done. Of course, the deadline is well past at this point. So defensive line, Malone, Payne's out. Keaho would be an 80 in that role. Jackson a 78. I'm tempted to see what some of these guys would be, linebacker-wise, how good they would be on the defensive line. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do, is see how good they are, because we have to check out these options, because it's either that or I take a look at who's available on the free agent list. Of course, it's going to suck if we magically do make it to the Super Bowl and we don't have the ability to use Payne. That would suck. But that's obviously a big injury for us. So we have a 72 in Reggie Grant, a 74 in Josh Sweat. Yeah, I mean, we might as well just hold out hope that he's going to be back and see if we can hold down the fort with the roster that we already have. So I'd say the main two options just to check are going to be Stevenson and Gardner, just to see if either one of them at defensive tackle is worth putting there. And we'll see how it goes. If Stevenson isn't highly rated, then I doubt Chauncey would be as a former option. Jesus Christ. Okay. Right. That is interesting, because we could run Riley, Chauncey, and Harvey as we try to continue to develop Harvey and have that defensive tackle situation be the best in the league. I'm going to check with everybody else here because we might as well. But yeah, that's fairly ridiculous. Yeah, see, Chauncey's not quite to that level. I do want to check some of the other guys that we care about here, though. Could make the jump cut here, but screw it. At least you guys can see the full process. Skip ahead if you want to get to the next game. But it'll take a minute to sort all of this back. But like I said, it's worth checking. With the lack of high-end free agents, why the hell not, right? So, let's see. Walter Harvey as well. It would be great if Harvey was a better defensive tackle than he was linebacker, because I am very worried about his development. I wish you could just see the full grades for linebackers on the defensive line, because it works the other way. You can see how good a defensive lineman would be at linebacker. So let's see. What are the best options here? It's Stevenson. Potter's 1 point better? That's interesting. Potter's actually 1 point better as a defensive lineman than he is as an outside linebacker. I think I'm going to hold off on Stevenson being a defensive tackle. I'm going to move him back to linebacker, but let me know what you think. Of course, we'll base it off of how these next few games go, but let me know what you think on that front in terms of whether or not it's worth playing Stevenson and running a 4-3 defensively. Of course, we're in a situation right now with the Patriots where we constantly, using that playbook, where we constantly switch from a 3-4 to a 4-3 while running the 4-6 scheme. So, we do have options. The one thing I like about this defense, at the very least, we have options, but I think I'm going to leave Potter on the defensive line, and he'll be able to fill in there, and he'll get a little bit more playing time, which means Paul Ripkowski will get a little bit more playing time as well as a sub option. So, interesting to know at the very least that Stevenson, hell, I could probably even put him at safety, and he'd be solid. But there you go, Potter being moved down to the defensive line. We're not going to put Daron Payne on the IR just yet. So let's go ahead and sort out this depth chart. So again, Erickson, let's just go auto reorder for the moment. Running back wise, we're fine. Fullback wise, we're fine. Wide receiver wise, I still want Keaston Savage ahead of Trey Cates to try and develop him. Tight end wise, we're good with Byram there. The offensive line, let's go ahead. Do we have the extra right tackle? Is that what it is? Who's the extra guy? Do we have an extra left guard? We do. We have an extra left guard and Nash Groom. Okay. So, just get him there. Left guard. Left guard. Weeks, Groom. Actually, in fairness, Groom's not the one that we want there. We want Estandia. Estandia is the depth option that I want to put in that spot. At center, who do we have? Dieter, Morandi, and we'll put Estandia there. This is not overly important, I am well aware, but still, let me be compulsive about it. So, there we go, that's good. Defensive line, left end, we have Keaho. We have Pfeiffer. I could make sure that Knott gets extra playing time. Kirkendall's there too as a right end, but we also have Jackson. So, I think we are going to go... Again, the defensive line, though, has just changed so much. So much. To the point where Clayton Malone's an 87. We could technically move him to defensive end. But we have Keaho and Joe Jackson. Let's go Kirkendall, Pfeiffer, and then here we'll go Knott and Pfeiffer. And I think that works. Not bad. And then defensive tackle, Malone, Potter, Sinat. Daron Payne, of course, is hurt. We'll have Knott and Kirkendall. I think we're pretty much good. Outside linebacker, we're still good with Riley, Ripkowski, and then Stevenson. Middle linebacker will still be Stevenson, Gardner-Johnson, Teo, and Ripkowski. Outside linebacker, Harvey, Ripkowski, and Chauncey. Beautiful. Beautiful. I still love the state of our defense despite that rough injury, and it really sucks. Like, the second we're optimistic about Daron Payne, he goes down to injury, and it's like, oh, of course he does. Right? Just of course he does. So Huval, Pyle, and Ragland. Hyde, Bradford, and we're good there with Pyle again. And I think we're okay. I think we're okay. In terms of the kick return, I'm not against playing Keaston Savage there just to get him the football a little bit more consistently. You know, like Gamble, Turner, and Kang, Trey Cates, that's all fine. Obviously, we don't want Tre'Davious White being there, but I'm alright with Keaston Savage and Jericho as the backup running back. Because if Jericho gets hurt, we just, put him on IR, and we'll be fine there. I mean, he's been solid for us, though, although I think this will be his final year. But I definitely don't want Tre'Davious White on kick or punt return duty. Let's see. And this way, too, you guys get to see how the team's set up, and you can be like, hey, you're stupid. You should change this. So, for example, slot options actually were fine. That's good. Trey Cates is the primary slot receiver. Savage isn't really that great at it. That works. I think we're pretty much good to go. Although, rushing left end, I think I'd put Knott ahead of Riley. Probably. And maybe put Kirkendall there just to try and keep Riley at linebacker. Again, this is one of those situations where you could be like, actually, you're dumb, do it this way. Keep the linebackers there. Let me know. But I think for the most part, we are fine. We are good to go. Maybe Bradford got an interception at linebacker somehow. But there we go. That is the current depth chart at the moment. Like I said, hopefully that wasn't too boring to the majority of you, but it does give you an opportunity to be like, hey, here's how the team's set up at the moment, especially in lieu of the injury. We have a 7 overall point advantage on the Texans. Let's finally get into this game. Didn't expect on Deron Payne getting hurt, but like I said, creates an opportunity that's, you guys know at this point, if you've been following this series, I like to try and give you guys as much information as possible to help with your input. I don't like being like, okay, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut. Here's, just cutting out some of the stuff that can be boring, but in a series like this where I do want your input as much as possible, you kind of need that information. As we're going up against Christian McCaffrey, we of course have a hell of a history against the Texans already. McCaffrey, of course, we could have gone for. We signed Kareem Hunt instead. I think that was the right choice, but who the hell knows, as it's a snowy day in Buffalo. How will we do without Deron Payne? Let's find out. I'm intrigued to see how Potter can do. It's a scoreless first quarter. I do still love the way our defense is set up. As we get a touchdown, they respond. We respond 14-7, 14 all at the half. Right, so we started off with a 1-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. They responded with a 3-yard rushing touchdown for McCaffrey. We get a 10-yard touchdown pass to London Charles, and they, we'll find out in a moment because I accidentally hit the button, they end up with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Martinez Gibbs. So there you go, 14 all at the moment. As we begin the third quarter, Houston takes the lead, 17-14, and that is the score as we begin the fourth. Houston with an interception, Joseph Fields, and that's going to put the pressure on as they march down the field. It's a 6-point game. 9.5 to go. We still have time to get back into it, and we do quite quickly. 21-20. 14-yard completion to Hunt, 24-yard completion to Byram, and then Byram with a 0-yard touchdown pass. There we go. A 1-point lead with just about 7 minutes left. Houston is forced to punt within under a minute. Can we get anything going here? We march all the way down the field. We only end up with a field goal, but perhaps crucially, we killed a lot of time. 31-yard field goal for Elliott. Up by 4. What can we do? 17-yard completion for Martinez Gibbs. Next play. Steal. 13 yards. 16 seconds left. Here we go. Clock's ticking for Houston. They're out of timeouts. Can Deshaun Watson pull off a miracle as they run the ball with McCaffrey, and that is the game. I do have to wonder, as we move to 3-0 in this episode, I do have to wonder if anybody who tested this game has ever done what I do in these episodes and just watched the AI play for a couple of minutes. Did they test that at all? You're running the ball in that situation. I mean, I'll take the win. I'm not complaining. Anton Erickson, 22 of 29, 304 yards with 2 touchdown passes. 2 picks, though, however, to offset that. Although I think the Texans, were they not wearing white in the snow? Kareem Hunt over 100 yards rushing with a touchdown. London Charles, 91 yards on 9 receptions with a touchdown as well. Byram, 2 receptions, 24 yards with a touchdown. 2 sacks allowed, 1 from Bush, 1 from Leckie. Defensively, Huval and Hyde led the way. Not bad in terms of sacks. Keaho with 2. The 1 interception for Idris Stevenson. Good idea probably to leave him at linebacker. Elliott, a perfect 1 for 1. In terms of field goals, 24-20 is your final. We moved to 3-0 on the episode. I believe we're up to 11-3 now on the season as Clayton Malone and Nate Potter both improved. So there you go. Look at Nate Potter stepping up, has a chance to go up to an 80. Let's make Malone better there. No overall point improvement, but does get some crucial attributes, which I'm good with. And I mean, he's a beast. He is an absolute beast. I cannot believe what he's turned into. It's insane. Just how quickly he's developed. And then Nate Potter, let's make you better as a power rusher. You don't go up to an 80, but that's okay. You get upgrades on block shedding and power moves, which will be helpful when you go back to linebacker. So I'm good with that. Did we escape without injury? We did. So we're off to week 16. We play the Cowboys and the Patriots to end the season. We have upgrade points for Chauncey and Keaston Savage. Make Chauncey better as a run stopper. He's up to an 85. I do wonder how good he would be at safety now, where he initially was until we moved him to linebacker. Keaston Savage as well. Let's make you better as a possession option, with it being a scheme fit. He stays at a 76, but gets some decent improvements. Again, he is absolutely rapid, but in terms of an like an actual receiver, it's not that great. Right now, he's a kick return specialist, but we do have time. He's just 22. We have time to develop him, hopefully, into something more than that. As we'll take a look and continue to scout out high-ranking members of the offensive line. Let's go through the first 3 rounds here. Across the board, ooh, Graham, whatever the hell your name was, that was pretty rough, and I wish I didn't waste that extra point. Might not be the best draft for the O-line, is what we are discovering here. At 11-3, the division obviously locked up. We will still be battling for the best record in the league, which we currently have at 11-3. A win here secures us the best record in the league more than likely. More than likely. It'll actually be close, but a win here would more than likely do it. Again, there's only 2 teams at 10 wins or above, which is kind of crazy, but let's see what we can do. We are playing a pretty solid team, 9-5. Cowboys, we're on the road. Let's see what we can do. And man, in terms of overall, 89 against an 86. Dare I say a potential Super Bowl matchup? I won't, because both of these teams are cursed and aren't making it back for a very long time. Although I think the Cowboys in the sim already have been back to the Super Bowl and have already won a Super Bowl. So there is that. But we'll see what we can do here. Zeke against Kareem. Damn. A lot fewer carries for Elliott this season. But more yardage, which is kind of scary. Leighton Vander Esch. Did I not try to sign you? At this point, I've run so many franchise modes on Madden, they kind of run together. I think I tried to sign him in that offline Patriots run, but let's see what we can do here. Can we get a big-time win to all but secure the best record in the league? We do get the opening touchdown of the game. We'll see who ended up getting that. It was a 77-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. Good Lord. Dallas responds with a field goal and a touchdown, 10 unanswered points. We respond with a late touchdown, though, to regain the lead. It's 14-10 at halftime. It was a 26-yard field goal for Hauschka. We respond by doing nothing. They respond with nothing. We respond with nothing. They respond with a 39-yard touchdown pass to Allen Hurns. We respond with a pretty quick drive. Kareem Hunt caps it off with a 13-yard touchdown. To the second half we go. And through the third quarter we go. We start off with a touchdown, 21-10, now 24-10. A great third quarter there for us. A quick drive capped off with that 16-yard touchdown pass to Kawangio and a 23-yard field goal from Elliott. So it would have been nice to get the extra few points on that. But let's see what we can do. Up by 14. It's a quick turnover for us, unfortunately. A quick 3 and out. Let's see what the Cowboys can do. They march down and get a field goal out of it at least. 11.5 to go. And we're down to an 11-point lead. We march downfield, get the field goal, 27-13 with 4 minutes left. We wasted a lot of time. Dallas turns it over. Keaho with the sack on 4th down, and that is game. 27-13 is your final. We are a perfect 4-0 in this episode. As we, I believe, head to New England. It might be a home game, but as we head into Week 17, a chance to secure the top record in the league. Hanson Erickson, 21 of 33, 245 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Hunt, 176 yards rushing with a touchdown. Kawangio, over 100 yards. No one else had over 36. The touchdown for Kawangio, 1 for Hunt as well. Blocking-wise, decent game. Defensively, Lattimore and Chauncey led the way. A couple of sacks that game for Chauncey, Keaho, and Joe Jackson, and the 1 interception for Bennett Huval. Jake Elliott, 2 for 2. And the Buffalo Bills are looking like the NFL's best. Despite some of the changes we have made, despite some of the moves that could potentially risk the future, including moving a half-decent quarterback and having that player subsequently get injured that we got in return, we're looking good. We're looking damn good. We responded so well, and there you go. There you go. If we win this game, we are the top team. We might be the top team regardless, I think, over Washington. We'll see, but a win guarantees that we are the top team in the AFC, no matter what. Unbelievable. Despite some of the changes we made to have this kind of a season. I'm not surprised, especially with how well-rounded our defense is, as Bennett Huval goes up to an 82. But it certainly is good to see, as we have had some teams, as I got disconnected from the server, that better have saved. We have had some teams just downright, just downright underperform. As the servers appear to be down. This episode might be over. This episode might be over. Guys, I think we've been canceled by EA. We're doing too well that I think we have been canceled by EA, unfortunately. Oh, are we getting back in? Nope. Okay, I guess we're done here. Show's over, we're canceled. In the next episode, we begin the postseason. We'll sim that final game against New England. We'll take a look at all the regular season stats, and then we will get into the playoffs. Of course, you got to look at the depth chart and everything. Let me know if there are any changes you'd make there. What do we do with Stevenson? Do we leave him at linebacker? Any other suggestions, feedback, whatever else, let me know. Schemes and playbooks. Do we stick with what's worked in this episode? Let me know. But I guess we're done here for now. Cool. So you know the deal. As always, I thank you for watching and supporting the video and the channel. Make sure you're subbed and hit the bell and all that stupid stuff to make sure that you are alerted as to when I upload videos, because YouTube loves to tell you, or in fairness, they don't love to tell you, unfortunately. But yeah, you know the deal. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to go cry, because we got to wait to find out if we're the best team in the league.